like I said at the beginning, every business needs core. What do you call it? Everybody needs core compliance, but it is also very, very important, right, to have industry specific compliance. So, for example, there's licensing based on each sector or business type. If you are a bar, you need a liquor license. If you sell alcohol, you need a liquor license. If you're selling food, you need health certificates. If you are in hospitality, then you need a tourism license. So for each of your businesses, you need to figure out, do I have a sector compliance that I need to be compliant with? Do I have an industry specific compliance I need to be compliant with? This is also where industry bodies come in. Like, there's a body for doctors. You can't be a doctor um, if you're not registered. The same goes for business. Being, for example, with us in marketing, there's a body that is responsible for marketing for businesses that are in marketing, and it's a community of such businesses, and they help you with resources, they help you with events, just finding like-minded people and opportunities for businesses like yours. So also try and find out that kind of information as well. You guys, let me know if you have any questions, if there's anything you'd like to say before I go on. Are we all good? Cool. I will carry on. Another thing that you need to check out for is permits that you might need, areas. Okay, cool, cool, cool. You can go on, Maureen.
Um, okay, I wanted to ask, um, say if you're a doctor, you have to be on the doctor's board and stuff to
Yeah,
operate. I want to find out, but then if you're doing like selling food or whatever, selling food, whatever,
yeah.
you don't have to put on any board, right?
No, not for you as an individual, but for your business. So, like the health certificate that I was talking about, your business needs to have a health certificate. So, you need to,
Yes.
that would be your industry specific compliance.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. And then I just wanted to ask there where you say that the importance of having a registered business is in case of an accident or whatever,
Yeah.
it makes it easier to, I mean, what if my business is not registered and maybe someone is working for me and they have an accident, then I can get into very big trouble, right?
Yes, yes, you can, because they're going to start asking you, number one, is your business registered? If it's not registered, why is it not registered? Then, secondly, are you compliant? So, you can even have a registered business and still get into trouble because you're not compliant. Do you
Okay.
understand? So
Yes.
that's why all of those checks and balances are very important. Just because you're registered as CIPC doesn't necessarily make you compliant in all the other things. You still need to go and get compliance. Cool. Thank you for that, Maureen. So, like I was saying, that compliance is not one faceted, it's not single dimensional. There's a lot of things that make a business compliant, and you can only say I am compliant when you have ticked all the boxes, when you have done your industry compliance, your branding compliance, your online compliance, your financial compliance, your core business compliance. All of these things, you can't just say, oh, I'm industry compliant, so it's fine. What about the other stuff, right? You have to be compliant with everything. But the nice thing about it is that for most of the things, you only do it once a year. So you only come back every year. You're not coming back every month or every other day for most of the things. Some of them it's monthly, some of them quarterly or twice a year or something like that. But the most important, the big ones, once a year. Cool. Then industry compliance will also include the Poppy Act compliance. You need to have policies in place about how you handle people's information. Now, you also need to comply with professional body rules. If you are, for example, in the finance sector, that means that you need to have what do they call it? An FSP, a financial services number. You always you always hear at the end of bank adverts or all of that. They always say if FSP, our FSP number is this is because they're telling us that they're compliant with their industry standards. Then the next compliance that we're going to talk about is branding, marketing, and intellectual property. So for example, your brands like McDonald's, like KFC, who else is international, like your Burger Kings, all of those, they have distinct trademarks and logos that they register, even though they're not South African brands. When they come to South Africa, they will say, they'll go to the CIPC, they pay whatever they need to pay, and then nobody else in the country can use that. For example, nobody in the country can use that M with the golden arches, because whenever we see it, we identify as McDonald's. That is their brand. So you as a business can also go to CIPC and say, my logo is of a burger, a certain burger that looks a certain way, and nobody else can use this. I'm going to pay you CIPC, and if anybody uses this burger, then they have violated my brand. Excuse me. And you can actually take them to court for that. You can actually sue people because it is distinct to you, and you are compliant in making sure the CIPC knows it is distinct to you, and you have reserved the use of that thing for you. Then another thing that you would be good to do would be to register a domain. So a domain would be for your website, right? If somebody, for example, wants to Google Graceful Media, our domain name is Graceful Media. That means if you go Graceful Media and you find a website, a big chunk, like it's our website because we registered that domain, it belongs to us. Nobody else can say they are gracefulmedia.com except for us. And you can even go as far as registering gracefulmedia.co.za, to gracefulmedia.com, gracefulmedia dot whatever, and reserve all the ones that you're not using, so nobody else can ever use any variation of that Graceful Media. And that would also be a compliance, meaning every time somebody searches and they find a website, it's taking them to our website. Then obviously maintaining compliance with advertising standards in South Africa. South Africa has an advertising standards authority. If your ads are not up to par, you can be shut down as a business. They can take you off TV, off radio, those kinds of things. So you must always make sure that whenever you advertise as a form of your marketing compliance, you are within the parameters and are compliant with what the advertising authority wants. Then lastly, I think to just make sure that your marketing is truthful, it's respectful, and it's not exposing kids or even adults to things that are not ethical. That's the word. To things that are not ethical. We have to make sure that the content that we give up is ethical content. Then lastly, the compliance that we're going to talk about is if you get a website, I'm going to go over this quickly. If you guys need more information on this, you can always contact us, send us a mail, WhatsApp, you'll find us there. But digital presence, you need policies. For example, if you're going to be capturing people's data, you need to be compliant with the Poppy Act and have a privacy policy. And you must also tell them that you're collecting their data. You must also make sure that your website has clear terms and conditions. Safeguard your customers by using payment gateways that are secure, that doesn't keep their information, credit card numbers and stuff like that. And also make sure that you have clear disclaimers and contact information on your website. because that also counts on whether your website ranks or not. Then lastly, so we've been talking about compliance this whole time. This, you need to comply in this and in this and in this and in this. But what happens when you are not compliant? Say you say this thing is not important, I don't need to comply. What would happen? So number one, you will get fines. Yeah? SARS can fine you. CIPC can deregister your business, so your business can be taken away from the business database, and you're just back to being a side hustle. You're back to no legitimacy. You're back to not having trust. Then the next thing is you cannot get loans or grants or tenders when you are not compliant. These are some of the most important things that you need when you are that. So essentially, I was saying your inability to get loans and grants and tenders is majorly reliant on whether you are compliant or not. And thirdly, this is what Maureen was asking. You can get legal action from your staff or your clients if you're not compliant. Because if I get hurt and I'm at work and I work for a non-compliant business that should be able to cover for my medical fees and should be able to cover for my days of work that I've lost, that means that who is going to pay for that, right? I would need the business to compensate me, and if you're not compliant, that is money out of your own pocket, and I can get you arrested as the business owner and say, you are not compliant and that is not my fault, you know. So that is also like a major thing. Then pure reputation. Even if your product is good, even if it's great, even if it's awesome, 90% of the time, as soon as somebody realizes that you are not compliant, they're not going to trust it. To them, it's now a thing of, this looks shady, this looks too good to be true, this looks like it's not of great quality. And essentially, when that starts to happen, that means you're losing business, right? And we don't ever want that. We're in business so we can make money. Then lastly, but also a very important thing to consider, if you're not compliant, it will delay your business growth. You don't have funding, your customers don't trust you, um, you are not compliant. That means that your growth is stagnant, it's not growing. And the longer you are not compliant, the longer that it's going to take for this business to grow. So that is also a very important thing to consider. Cool. At the end of this, we are about to end in about 15 minutes. So we're gonna cover this as fast as we can. We have here a compliance checklist. You can take a screenshot. You can send us a mail to say, I want to take a look at that checklist, and then we'll obviously help you with it. But this is the compliance checklist. These are the core things that you need to have as your business. So a business registration certificate, which you get from CIPC, a tax clearance certificate, which you get from SARS, annual returns from CIPC, VAT compliance from SARS, if it's applicable. Remember the conditions for VAT that we spoke about. Payroll, this essentially means pay slips for all your employees and contracts that are HR compliant. Then financial records and invoices to get you financially compliant. Then COIDA and UIF as part of your HR compliance. Then a BBBEE certificate. But yeah, essentially we spoke about this too. And as a small business, you get this for free. You don't have to pay anyone, and you get it certified, and it's as good as a certificate. Then lastly, all of these things, make sure that you have copies of them secured somewhere. in case you need it or you lose another copy, you always have a backup. Cool. Then, final thoughts. Number one, stay consistent with compliance. Like I said, track record, building this builds your track record. But also, if you're already doing it, then you don't need to do it when the time comes. You already have everything set in place. Then, secondly, build relationships with um, appropriate people that will help you stay compliant. So if you have a relationship or if you hire an accountant, then you know that my finance is taken care of. If you hire legal advisors, then you know that my policies are taken care of, and whatever consultants that you need. And sometimes building relationships doesn't necessarily mean hiring a person, but just asking for advice. Ask the right people with the right knowledge to help you do the things that you need to do. Um, then number three is to keep records. Always make sure you record everything that you need, um, and that you have backups. So if it's a physical file, if it burns, you have a digital one. If your computer crashes, you have one on a hard drive or a second physical file or something like that. Make sure you have contingencies for these things. Then, lastly, remember compliance is not just red tape. It's not just another thing, another hoop that you need to jump. It's an investment in your business and how long your business stays around. That's how you must view it. Cool. Now we have reached our question and answer. I have said a lot, done a lot of speaking. Does anybody have questions? Anything they want to add? Anything they want to ask? I will open up the floor. Oh, I don't see any hands raised, so we will move on. Cool. So this webinar, this presentation is just part of a course that we offer. It is called Entrepreneurship Blueprint. And in this blueprint, we talk about things such as compliance, things like how to pitch, like we did in our previous webinar. If you haven't seen that, we will put a link in the description and you can check it out. Yeah, there's a whole lot. We talk about the entrepreneurship mindset and how to just get you ready to being the entrepreneur and the business owner that you can be. So if you want to sign up for the extended course, you can pop up an email at hello@gracefulmedia.com and we will be in touch. You can also find us on Facebook, on Instagram, on Pinterest, on TikTok, on LinkedIn, any of the social media platforms. Send us a DM and we will be in touch. You can go on, Maureen.
Okay. Thank you so much for that. It was very, that was very educative. I want to ask, how much is the cost, the excellent cost that you talked about?
Okay, thank you. So our extended course varies according to your needs. So we have the entrepreneurship course and we also have a digital marketing course. And for each of those, it will need to be a specific quote. We do charge 3,500 per individual for a period of 6 months doing this course. But like I said, it can be tailored according to your needs.
Okay. All right. That's fine.
Thank you. So, thank you so much to those of you who joined. Thank you that you were able to stick it out until the end. If you guys have any inquiries, these are our details. Do reach out. We look forward to working with you. And yeah, until next time, we have our next webinar. Bye.
Bye. Thank you so much.